no time for God. God always loves us. But we're going to see how this love is going to come to us now. To all mankind. So he didn't come only for John, but John loved him a lot. That's the difference between John and the other apostles. And this is the question we always ask. How much do you love Jesus Christ? What does he mean to you in your life? قوت هذا هما شو بقارة إلى كمي بوين نمشيخة من مجد إيه كبشان مدك سيرت مضرالي لبارة قمودي بشغل بخبي قمارة. Why does this love change? Why can't it increase instead of decrease? Why is it my situation dictate my love to Jesus Christ? Why is it my life situation tells me that how much I love Jesus? It depends where I am. It depends where I am in my life. See? And that's where you see the bitterness that comes into people because of what they see in this life. It takes that love away. And that is how they separate themselves from that friendship, from that love, from that true love, from that relationship which is ليه هو يا أخنا إن أهوالتنا خجة هو يا باصورتا إن خمندي أوي خيوتا أخنا إيضا تا خبان آخش من شيخ لا تامل شرط. That's where it comes. See? That's why when Jesus was on the cross, everybody ran away. Why? Because they were disappointed in Jesus. Because Jesus wasn't supposed to die. Jesus was supposed to give them a kingdom on earth. See? And that's what's happening to man today. They want something from Jesus. They want something from that good friend. They go with him all the way, but when they can't get to where they want, they walk away from him. Because they're disappointed in Jesus Christ. See? That's why it's amazing the love of John for Jesus Christ. He goes all the way. And if you guys read about his life story, you will understand why Jesus picked him as his beloved. Because he is the only one that's going to live 100 years. Right? So he overlives all the apostles. Even St. Paul. So this is the one that's going to be thrown in the island of Patmos. This is the one that is going to be, he's going to be cooked in a hot oil. This is the one. This is the one. But his love for Jesus Christ increased and increased to a point where Jesus came to him. He said, you know what? I have to give you the revelation of what's going to happen to this world. Because you are the most beloved man that I met in my life. You trusted me so much, you stood with me till the end, then I'm going to give you the biggest secret for mankind. It's called the Revelation book. The book of Revelation. Who did he give it to? Why? Because he stayed till the end. He is the beloved. And that's the question for all of us. Can we stay till the end? No matter what happened in our lives? لا خير. If you want to understand the divinity of Jesus Christ, you have to stay the course. You can't change with the weather. You can't change with your circumstances. You can't. You believe him. You trust him. You give him everything. Because he will give it back to you in bundles, in bunches. Why? Because he knows what's good for you. And he knows when the time calls for things that you have to be in tight situations. And when you have to be in better situations. God knows better what's good for you. So qabut hada, trusting in the Lord is different. That's what's called faith. Trusting in the Lord Jesus Christ. Not when I want. No. Why I am not getting this? Then why is he giving this something and he's not giving me? Look at that guy. He's just not doing anything with his money. I could have done better with his money. I could have helped. I could have built churches. I could have done. It's not the time. See? King David wanted to build the temple. God said, no. Just, you are my beloved. That's why you called David. And you are a prophet. But you're not going to build the temple. Because it's not the right time. Your son will build the temple. Yeah, but my son is going to marry 1,000 women. That's not your business. That's not your job. Your son will, your son, Solomon, King Solomon will build the temple. Because the timing, who's going to be there, why, who's going to come there, when is Jesus going to come, it's all counted. It's all counted. See? So, qabut hada, trusting in the Lord God is the most important thing. John trusted in Jesus Christ until the cross. He didn't care if they're going to take him right there when he was under the cross and put him with him. He didn't care. He didn't care about that. Okay, John 21:7. And I think 21 is the last chapter in the book of John. Everybody reads, please. So, مودي بغزايا لخا يوخنا نسريخا شو وما قارئ سؤال بدك تكتب قري خي قري بار
مرة هاو تلميذك كي مخبوا له إيشو مغير شمون كيفا مارن إيله وإيمن بشماله شمون كيفا مارن إيوا شغيلاله صدره وصيراله بخاصة سبب شلخايوة وروبياله قاني قيامة آزلوا الكس إيشو
لا بس عربي.
فقال ذلك التلميذ الذي كان يسوع يحبه لبطرس هو الرب. فلما سمع سمعان بطرس أنه الرب اتزر بثوبه لأنه كان عريانا وألقى نفسه في البحر.
Julian, you can read.
Therefore that disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his outer garment, for he had removed it, and plunged into the sea.
We all know Peter. Simon is who? Or Simon Peter. Who is he? He's the chosen one. He's the patriarch. He's the one that Jesus said, "And to you I will give the keys of heaven." Right? But who recognized Jesus? His best friend. The beloved friend. The beloved friend told the chosen one, "Hey, that's my best friend right there. Look." Right? They were in the boat, fishing,
Yeah.
but they couldn't recognize their best friend. They couldn't recognize the man they spent 3.5 years with. But the real one, the beloved one, the closest one, there's my best friend. My best friend, I see him. Can you guys see him? No, we can't. You can't recognize him? No, we can't. Are you sure? Of course. How can I miss? How can I miss my best friend? هو إلى أخوري شهيرة هو إلى تبايلي هو إلى تبايلنا دمخ من صدره هو ريخ من رخة مش قالن هو آمني له شو ما كيف له بالله. You see, when you are busy in this world, you miss your best friend. إن موديوا يخنني وبطروخ يخنني وروخنايا. John was always in spirit. He was always in good spirits. He was always living by heavenly life. He was always, he would always know what's right and what's wrong. He will always recognize Jesus from far away. That's why the only time he was comfortable when he put his head on Jesus' shoulder. He knew he was in a comfort place there. يطي ويكاسر. يطي ويكاتو. He will never give that spot to any of the apostles. He knew he has to go and sit next to Jesus and put his head on his shoulder. He knew where his comfort zone was. See? That's why when you spend that much time with Jesus Christ as a man, you can't miss him. You can't not recognize him when you see him by spirit, when you see him in the new flesh. Como levo budaje sabigo do khapag rakata. Ina بطروخة وبخايا من شيخة ليه بخايا بتبصر. That's why the question that we ask, do we recognize Jesus Christ in our life? Do we hear his voice? Do we open the door? That's what the ultimate question is. Is he just a friend as a man? Or is he your God? That's the difference. وماني لبادخل طرق أعلاها إن همونت مشيخة إلى أعلاها دخي بتوع إلى فتخة لتر دخي بتوع إلى لبرشت من جوناشي. So we're just building on the relationship between Jesus and John. Okay? That's why he's the beloved of Jesus. 21:20 again. And we said this is the last chapter. Hella?
And Peter turned around, saw the disciples whom Jesus loved following, who also had leaned on his breast
Yeah.
at the supper, and said, Lord, who is the one who betrayed you?
Right. Go ahead. Grab Surah.
در الشمون تشيبا وغزيل الهاو تلميذة مخبو على إيشو بتايا بارا آهي وتلميذة جنية على صدرة إيشو دانت خرمشا وقرة منه ماري ماني لهاو سابيلو.
عربي.
فالتفت بطرس ونظر التلميذ الذي كان يسوع يحبه يتبعه وهو أيضا الذي اتكأ على صدره وقت العشاء وقال يا سيد من هو الذي يسلمك.
You see, we always knew and we know that always Simon Peter is the one that asks questions.
Yeah.
Right? He was always on top of things. He always asked questions. He always said, you are the Lord. You are the Son of God. You are the Son of the living God. He always said that. But when it came for a trial, Peter did not succeed. He even denied Jesus. Before this happened, not too long ago before this, he denied Jesus 3 times. Right?
Yeah.
But even when they wanted to know, they wanted to know who was the one that's going to betray Jesus, who had to ask the ultimate question? The beloved one, John. They all had to depend on John. John was the one that his head was on Jesus' chest. So John was the close. John had to ask that question. Really? Someone you love so much, you're so close to him, and one among you will betray him. Who's going to feel the most pain? John. John is feeling it. John is getting hurt. Because John is not the one that's going to betray him. Peter is not the one that's going to betray him. It's going to be Judas, right? And Jesus knows who's going to betray. Ina kamani namara baqar, kamani namara baqar kamshicha baqar. Mani le awa bit taslimne. Mani. Ina mani le baqar. يوحنا. Come on. سبب أبوش إلى أجوزة إلى يوحنا. يوحنا يريش الصدر مشيخة. خلاني يبيطلع رابط. هدخل قربة الله ويطلع هدية. خلانا من دنا دينتي ومرزناني بتمدوقين بتمخطلين. تخرج. How are you gonna feel when you know one among you guys will betray someone that you love so much? See? That's how John was getting hurt. But he was the one that was asking. He wanted to know more than anybody else. Who's going to betray my beloved friend? Who's going to do this to her? So that's why when someone talks about Jesus Christ, it hurts you. It bothers you. You want to fight over it. You want to break the walls over it. You want to break their heads. You're like, how can you betray? You know, betraying Jesus Christ is not just by giving him a... people betray Jesus Christ in different ways. And they're among us. And they come to the same church. They betray Jesus Christ. But when you love him so much, you get hurt. You're like, how can you do this to Jesus Christ? And that's what I always say. I say, because of the cross, because of that pain, because of these tears, why can't man unite? Why can't be one? See, that's how much you gotta love Jesus. It's like you cry for the man that doesn't understand the power, the love, the height, the width, the depth of the cross of Jesus Christ. For that cross, you have to do everything possible to make Jesus happy. Even your enemy, you go with them. You go and kiss him. Why can't man do that? That's what puzzles me. Are we beloveds of Jesus? Or are we still slaves to Satan? That's the question. Or do we just know Jesus by name and he is just another individual among us? Just a man we know by name Jesus. He's just a carpenter. Who is Jesus in our life? That's the ultimate question. أول أبو قارئ بكرة خلاجانا. قمودي لينم صايت رناش السزجري. إنينا مخيوخنا beloved of Jesus Christ. ما نينا نناش. دخلنا مصايا سزجري قبل خاطر تسقيفة خبة شلامة دمت عينة بريناتة. Anything, just pick anything that you care about. Is he your best friend, really? Is he your beloved? Or is he just someone on the shelf? You use him when you want. That's why it's amazing the book of John. Who John is. And who is Jesus in his life. He wasn't the same with the other apostles. I'm sorry. Wasn't. No. Therefore, read that for me, please.
Therefore, the Gospel of John reveals the message of God's true love to mankind.
The only gospel that is going to reveal to us the love of God for mankind. There is no such love on earth. There is no love close to God's love to mankind. There is. ليتن خبة الكل باتتقرع كل بريتا. Never happened, never will. Like the love of God for mankind. That's why we talked about the rebellion. We talked how we rebelled against God. Us and the angels, we became one, and we fought against God, and we rebelled against God. And look what God